If you are suffering with depression, whether it's mild or severe, you are not alone. There are over 264 million people that suffer with depression globally. That's a staggering number. And I actually have a hunch that the numbers are much higher than that. There are many people that feel ashamed by their depression and will go to great lengths to hide it, even from the people they love. So what causes depression? That's the biggest question most of us struggle with. And understanding how we got here is the best way to map out a plan for healing our hearts and finding our joy again. At a very simplistic level, depression results from denying parts of who we really are. The reasons that come about are different for every one of us. For me, I was desperate to belong and to make sure that my family loved me. And I decided to deny parts of who I really was because I thought they were in conflict with that goal. For you, maybe you felt like you had to dim your spirit or your voice in order to stay loved and safe. For someone else, maybe they couldn't explore who they really were because they were in a constant state of just trying to survive. The reasons for denying who we really are will vary with each one of us, but the overriding theme was a strategy of shutting ourselves off from who we really are. So healing depression is a process of finding what we left behind and incorporating it back into our lives. And before I get into how to do that, I have a bit of a disclaimer. I am a huge fan of a comprehensive approach to healing, which means that while I am very confident that tapping is an amazing resource in even the most extreme cases of depression, I strongly encourage seeking help from other professionals as well. That could include help from a mental health professional, nutritional help, physical help. Moving our bodies is an excellent therapeutic tool. In other words, it's time to make healing this depression a full-time job, and tapping is only one part of that. When you create a team that can support your health and wellness, this process, along with tapping, will go much faster. Where do we start, though? Finding what we left behind sounds like an incredibly nebulous approach. So let's break it down into some steps. The best and most effective place to start letting go of depression is by tapping through what I call our foundational fears. These are the things that must be in place for us to move around in the world with a sense of stability and certainty that we're safe. Foundational fears include things like not being enough, fear of not being worthy or deserving of love, fear of rejection and abandonment, fear of not belonging, and fear of our bodies. Every one of us is hardwired to need and desire belonging, worthiness, and bringing value to our tribe. So when one of those things is missing, it can feel irrationally scary and unsafe. Rejection from our tribe meant certain death long ago, and that fear is still with us, shaping our decisions and our movements unconsciously. Fear of our bodies happens when we've experienced a major illness or an accident and chronic pain resulting from either one of those, and we've lost the ability to trust that this vessel will support us in this life. As hard as it is, the healing begins when we lean into these foundational fears and tap them and honor them enough so that we can finally release them and feel safe again. Once the foundational fears have been addressed, now's the time to lean into the other aspects of our personality that scare us or we feel guilty about. We need to ask ourselves, are we afraid of vulnerability? If the answer is yes, then we need to lean into vulnerability and accept it as a vital part of who we really are. Are we afraid of anger and confrontation? If yes, then we need to lean into those fears and do the tapping that will allow us to get angry on our own behalf. And I'm putting the emphasis on own because it's often easy to get angry about on our children's behalf or on behalf of animals or a worthy cause. But getting angry on our own behalf feels really difficult. We deny its importance, and we justify not confronting the situation or the person in the end, which can erode our sense of worthiness. Are we denying any portion of our sexuality? And what is the source of our biggest guilt? Whatever the answers are, we need to lean in and get curious about why we push it away. And with tapping, surrender our resistance to it. Because in the end, this isn't about being somebody else or being different. It's about accepting who we really are. Once we've gotten to this point, the depression should be a mere shadow of its former self. There's still some work to do, though. Now the tapping should focus on letting go of any shame and embarrassment about who we really are. If there isn't a willingness to shine brightly into the truth of who we really are, and there's a tendency to hide it away or disguise it in front of all the people that we know, then it will remain hidden and suppressed and have the potential to stall this healing journey. For this portion of the journey, tapping should center around coming out of the shadows, letting people see who you really are in all of your glory, and then tapping on all the fears that come up as a result. Now it's time to start actively dismantling the armor that we've put up around our hearts and begin to let love in again, both from others and from ourselves. You know, that old cliche about loving ourselves first really is true, and it's the cornerstone of leading a joyful life. So tapping at this stage should focus around letting go of our inner critic, which is the shadow side that keeps our heart in lockdown mode. Opening up our hearts to receiving, letting go of the fear of getting hurt, and finding moments of gratitude and appreciation for how far we've really come. Learning to speak our truth is the next step on this healing journey. That means having the courage to ask for what we want and need, and it also means expressing our true emotions. Most of us are inclined to deny sadness or anger for fear of what other people will think. And while we can choose who we share our deepest truths with, expressing it through our voice is critical at keeping depression at bay in the future. Okay, I know that list is long, and when depression is present, everything can feel overwhelming, including getting started on the work that I've outlined here. And if that's the state that you are in, I urge you to seek professional help with this. A tapping coach can help keep you on track and also keep you accountable so you continue to move forward even when you don't want to. Accountability to a coach can be a great asset when you need some distance between who you really are and the version of you that's depressed. I also urge you to watch the video Healing in Layers, and that can help you to understand what to expect when you continue to do this work. And lastly, I want to say congratulations. You've come this far. The next step is pressing start on one of the tapping rounds. Even 20 minutes a day will make a huge difference for you. Start on the foundational fears in the fears and phobias section, and be sure to fill me in on your progress.